imagine you're exhausted.
Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that Council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson-Superior Treaty area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbours, the communities of Pittagon, Shinabig, and Pic-Mobile First Nations. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region specifically, and show respect for them today. All in favor? I'll call the meeting to order. Are there any additions or deletions? Is there any disclosure of interest? None. Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that the agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Delegations. We'll move to adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 9th, 2022 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? There are no petitions. And there's one piece of correspondence. Do we need to bring it down? Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that correspondence items number 08-01 be received and filed. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the inaugural Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board held January 13, 2022 be accepted as received. All in favor? Next item is...
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, a few updates for Council tonight. Just to advise that the rapid antigen test kit program is moving along nicely. We've dispersed 3,800 kits so far, and we have another good stack of applications that we're currently processing. So the community is very receptive, and many people have extended their thanks to Council for making this program available. A special thanks to Katie Law and her staff for doing a wonderful job this weekend with Frosty Days. And a big congratulations to the Citizen of the Year, and this year Citizens of the Year, the Manitowoc Food Bank. And also a big shout out to Public Works as we continue to be pelted with so much snow and cold and water line breaks, and just really thankful for the great work that the crew is doing. And that's all I have to report today.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report PW 2022-01 submitted by Darren McKenzie, Director of Public Works and Facilities, regarding the contract between the Township of Manitowoc and GFL Environmental. Your Honor.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Before you is the final piece to the December 8th meeting that we had when we selected to have GFL look after our waste management services. Before you is the actual contract to be signed by the Mayor and the CAO to execute the agreement.
Are there any questions about the contract?
Actually, Mr. Chair, well, not specifically the contract, but one of the biggest questions that I get asked around town, the garbage bins, the flip-up ones, will they be the same on the GFL truck as the one the majority of the residents have right now?
Through you, Chair. What GFL is using is actually a 60-40 split side load garbage truck. They won't be taking advantage of the actual tipping portion, but we have agreed with GFL to use the tipper cans. We still bring them to the curb. they'll open them, either dump them in manually or pull the bags out. So as long as the garbage is bagged inside that tipper, there's no issues with it whatsoever.
No. By saying that, are there going to be weight limits on those now?
On the bags themselves, it's still the 50-pound limit, which was on there before, under the current bylaw. So it's just on the bags, individual bags.
Yes, I realize that, but like the actual cans, the tip, there was no weight limits on those.
Through you, Chair, the issue with that was that under the current bylaw did not address the tipper cans as they stood. So there is a weight restriction because there are weights where it will not pick up the current tipper cans with our equipment. So that would have been a case-by-case situation because it actually was not under bylaw to state a weight limit on the current tipper cans being used. Hence the bylaw having to be updated as well, which we're anticipating in April that bylaw will be updated. So individual bags will still have to be at the 50-pound limit.
Okay.
So, and
I'm just concerned about the reaction of the general public if they can't use the bins the way they have been using them.
the bins can still be used. They'll take them down, put 3 bags in the bin. Each bag, 50 pounds. It's 150 pounds in a bin. At least that's what I'm planning to do with my bin.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Through the chair, more of a question or a statement than a question. I do believe that with this new waste management system, it will reduce some of the waste, so it might lead to less garbage per se going out. With dividing things and doing the recycling program, it could potentially help a lot for the actual garbage portion of things.
Correct. That's the whole plan of utilizing this.
So through the chair, in regards to that, would there be a weight limit on the recycling bins then?
Through the chair, at the present time, what we're looking at and working with GFL is that it's based on per bag. It comes down to what basically the health and safety legislation allows, that you're only supposed to pick up 50 pounds per person. So if there's 2 people doing a bin to tip it in, spread the weight out. If it's just going to be opening the bin and taking the bag out, then it's 50 pounds per bag. It will be trial and error at the first little bit, especially since we don't have the bylaw up to date as of yet.
Through the chair, will we be keeping our garbage truck, or will we be getting rid of it?
Through the chair, actually, we will still be doing commercial pickup of the dumpsters,
Okay.
so our truck will still be utilized.
And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that report number PW 2022-01 regarding a contract between the Township of Manitowoc and GFL Environmental Inc. be received, and further that council authorizes the CAO and mayor to execute said contract for a period of 7 years as detailed in the contract. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report FB 2022-03 submitted by Don Kruger, Fire Chief, regarding the Deputy Fire Chief's position.
Good evening. I don't have anything to add to the report. I'm just happy to take any questions.
Do we have any questions? Happy.
No, I guess if you were just make an announcement that
So, pending the approval of the bylaw, Kelly Dorian, a 30-year veteran of the Manitowoc Fire Department, will assume the duties of Deputy Fire Chief.
Very good.
perfect.
Thank you. Awesome. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council appoints Kelly Dorian as the new Deputy Fire Chief for the Manitowoc Fire Department. All in favor? Thank you. And congratulations to him and to you for getting it.
Thank you, and I'll say thank you on behalf of Kelly as well.
And there's just one more here. Moved by Councillor Campanella, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report FD 2022-04 submitted by Don Kruger, Fire Chief, regarding to declare surplus 600 feet of fire hose.
So we have a great deal of hose that's stored or stacked in the fire hall, and I received a call from the chief in Greenstone that he had somehow misplaced some hose and asking if we had some that we could spare, and once I did a count of what we had, I found that we actually had 2,200 feet of the size that he was looking for, so I felt that we could spare the 600 feet. So I'm asking that 600 feet be declared surplus, and we are actually going to invoice Greenstone Township, and they're actually going to purchase that hose from us.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, that Council declares 600 feet of fire hose surplus so that may be sold to Greenstone Fire Department. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thanks.
Moved by Councillors Campanella, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2022-11 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding request to construct garden center, Melanie's, your independent grocer.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you're aware, each year we bring a report to Council for your consideration on the location of the garden center that, this year Melanie's Independent Grocer is constructing. In previous years, it's been Valumart. This year, they've proposed a change in location, and I did provide a map that outlined where they would like to construct the temporary shelter. It's against the guardrail at the back end of the parking lot, and the front entrance would face the front of Melanie's store. That would give them better line of sight on what's going on out in the garden center with regard to their staff and the customers. And then they would utilize the space beside the building to store the soils and bark and fertilizer that they also sell. We've met with Darren McKenzie and Katie Law and feel that this is an appropriate location, and we can also work with them regarding the services, both water and electricity, either from our building or from their building with a temporary laying of the lines across the parking lot and then covering that. So a bit of a traffic calming measure as well.
Speed bump.
So with Council's support and approval, we would like to be able to offer this location to them this year.
Yeah. Through the chair, I think that is a very good location, especially because it's going to combine with our outdoor market that's planned in that area right just below that.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
It'll blend right in.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Other questions? Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, that Council approves the location of the temporary garden center for Melanie's, your independent grocer, for the 2022 planting season. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Campanella. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2022-12 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding personnel policies.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. The day has finally arrived, and these are the last of the personnel policies to submit to Council for your review and approval. These were the more challenging of the policies, simply because there's so much legislation around workplace violence, discrimination, harassment, and then we've also been advised that we have to establish a right to disconnect policy through the Ministry of Labour. So these policies have been updated. We haven't rescinded any of the previous policies because they were more related to our Joint Health and Safety Committee. And so we'll keep those policies in place, but really want to spell out very clearly what is violence in the workplace, what is harassment, what is discrimination, and these policies do go a deep dive into what that looks like, what that feels like, and what we can do about it when one of our staff are experiencing that. So with your review and support, we would like to add these to the personnel binder, and then at the next council meeting, we will present you with the full binder and have you pass a bylaw.
Any questions?
Yes, through the chair. So this entire binder will apply to every aspect of township, like the boards that's some of us sit on and that sort of thing, like...
Well, at the moment, our volunteers do review our most important policies, and those are around workplace violence, harassment, discrimination, and they must sign an acknowledgement that they've read them and that they understand them.
Okay.
And at the moment, as we've been having council approve the policies, we have established binders, and we have placed them in each of the respective departments' workplace. So staff have had access to these policies since last year when we started approving them. But once council passes a bylaw, we will post them online, so anyone can see our policies. And that is how we become a respectful workplace, is when that information is shared and people know what to expect when they're considering employment with the township. They know what their rights are, and they know how they will be treated, and they know what the culture of the organization is.
Okay, thank you. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves personnel policy number 2021-35, workplace harassment and discrimination policy, and further that council approves personnel policy number 2021-49, the violence-free workplace policy, and further that council approves the reporting guidelines and complaint form 2021-35/49, that council approves personnel policy number 2021-54, the right to disconnect policy, and further that council directs staff to bring back a bylaw to establish a personnel policy binder for the Township of Manitowoc at the next meeting of council. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hutt. Resolved that the 2022 Annual Conference of Ontario Good Roads Association, OGRA, is scheduled to be held on April 10th to April 13th, 2022 in Toronto.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you know, OGRA is coming up, and we want to be able to make this available to our Director of Public Works and Facilities, but also to members of council if anyone would like to attend that event.
And I certainly will go. Is there anybody else?
It's probably going to snow that day.
Pardon?
I'll
Are you
attend,
interested
yes.
in going that one? Yeah, because it's a very educational one. It's well worthwhile. And I think we have the funding because we haven't been to many. So
Yes.
I haven't been anywhere in 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If anybody wants to go.
Unfortunately, I can't go. I'm scheduled to work at that time.
No, I...
Okay.
It will snow that day.
April snow. There you go, Mike.
And the other Director of Public Works?
Yes.
Should still be off.
There you go.
And you're going to go.
No, I
No?
won't go.
Very good opportunity. There's a lot of
I
CAOs there.
trust Darren to represent
Okay.
us well.
Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, the following council and or staff members will attend: Mayor John McEachran, Councillor Mike Scampanello, and Director of Public Works, Aaron McKenzie. All in favor? Thank you. Next item is delegation. So Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that Council's request the delegations of the following ministers at the 2022 Ontario Good Roads Association Annual Conference. Now, I would suggest we don't go to the health department.
Yeah.
In the 13 years I think I've been around, they never granted one.
No.
But perhaps there may be an opportunity to meet with the Minister of Infrastructure to talk about funding for roads, sewer, and water infrastructure. And that is something that we really need
Funding.
Is there anything that we need with the Minister of Mines and Forest?
No, at the last council meeting, council approved a transfer payment agreement through the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines for the Northern Ontario Resource Development Program, NORDS. So, I mean, if anything, there could be a delegation to thank the minister for that funding. That's always a good idea. And to talk about how we will use the funding for roads, sewer, and water infrastructure, and how we need more of that.
Okay, resolved that Council requests delegation of the following minister at the 2022 Ontario Good Roads Association OGRA Annual Conference, the Minister of Infrastructure, and that we thank the Minister of Mines and Forestry for the grant that we received, and maybe explain to them what we are going to use it for.
Yep.
All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson, being a bylaw to enter into a service agreement with GFL Environmental Inc. to provide waste management and recycling services to the Township of Manitowoc to be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-12. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Township of Manitowoc at its meeting held Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, be read a first and second time.
Excuse me, sorry, through the chair. I think you missed a resolution. It might have just stuck to the other one. Sorry.
Sorry, yes, there was another. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Scampanello, being a bylaw to appoint a deputy fire chief, be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-13. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Township of Manitowoc at its meeting held on Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, be read a first and second time, and furthermore be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-14. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Hudson, resolved that the regular meeting adjourn at the hour of 7:23. All in favor?